Hey everyone, this is Versha, the senior correspondent at Now This, coming to you for day 3 of the DNC. There are just 2 nights left. Let us know in the comments if you've been watching. We're curious. We're going to get to speak with one of the featured speakers tonight in just a minute, actually. Senator Elizabeth Warren is joining us, and she's going to give us a preview for what's going on tonight. Also speaking tonight is former President Barack Obama and Senator Warren. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I mean, it's been an interesting all virtual convention week.
It has.
You're addressing the convention tonight along with Barack Obama, Senator Kamala Harris, our VP candidate. So tell us, what can we look forward to for tonight?
Well, so tonight is going to have, I think, more about why it is that we need Joe Biden as president. And we're going to hear from some amazing people like Barack Obama and Kamala Harris. But we're also going to hear from some folks who are living right now through this COVID crisis and what that means for their small businesses, for their work. It's going to be kind of the how this feels on the ground part of it as well. And I think that's going to be terrific.
Now, one big topic that is on everybody's mind is the post office right now and what's going on with that. The Postmaster General actually announced yesterday that he's suspending changes for now. He's still going to testify in a Senate hearing Friday. So what are the latest developments with this? What should people know?
So, look, the Postmaster General is clear what he's trying to do. He is trying to shut down the post office, or at least constrain the post office enough that people won't be able to vote by mail, or if they do vote by mail, won't get their ballots counted. And this is not like we're surmising this or this is some kind of conspiracy theory. Basically, this is exactly what Donald Trump said. If everybody gets to vote by mail, he's going to lose. And he knows that. So the Postmaster General comes in. He got this job because he's a big Trump supporter and raised a bunch of money for Trump. He got this job basically in order to carry out what Trump wants. So, but here's the thing. This reminds us why it is important that all of us get engaged. There's been huge pushback. I mean, huge, all over this country. And people have been saying, can't do this. Folks go stand in front of their post office. People are talking about it in chats, and they're doing it by email, and they're doing it by text, and just every way they can. And the consequence has been that DeJoy has now done 2 things so far. The first one is he said, yep, I'll come testify next week in front of the House of Representatives. Do you think he wanted to do that? And the second thing is he said, I'll stop doing all the things I've been doing, like getting rid of mailboxes and getting rid of the sorting machines and cutting the overtime. So what that tells you is it matters. The fact that you're talking about it and people who are with us today are talking about it matters. But we're not through. We don't just say, shoo, crisis averted. What we have to do now is keep the pressure up. We need to make sure that he's good to his word, that he doesn't do more of it, but more to the point that they reverse it. So we get those mailboxes out there. So we get the overtime. So we're getting the mail delivered on time. And then the other part of it is support the post office, but also we got to work on alternative ways to vote safely. So if you're in a state where you can use a drop-off at your local polling place, if you're in a state where you're allowed to collect ballots for other people, we need to do that too, to reduce the pressure on the post office. So pushing on the post office, but also finding other ways, because we all need to have our votes counted come November 3rd, 2020.
A couple people have proposed that instead of speaking at the DNC, they should ask Michael Bloomberg to fund ballot drop-off boxes in all 50 states. You had a memorable moment with him in the primary. Do you think he might chip in this way?
He's got plenty of money. It's not like this is going to make him go hungry if he puts some money into it. But I really do have to say, for all of the folks who say they really want to be able to help in our democracy, then make sure that people get the chance to vote and that they get that vote counted. And that's the post office. That's the alternative ways to vote. It's also beating back on all of these voter suppression efforts.
Yeah.
You know, here we are, we're 76 days out, and I'm worried. You know, we're in litigation all around the country to try to make sure people get a chance to vote. But so much of this is grassroots. People who need to make sure they're registered and that their aunts are registered and their cousins are registered and their next door neighbor is registered and those two guys you went to high school with are registered, that everybody has gotten registered and that everybody's got a plan to vote. A lot of voter suppression is, look, parts of it are clearly in the statute, wiping out voter rolls and so on, and we can litigate about that. But a big part of voter suppression is telling people your vote doesn't count, just doesn't matter. There's no reason to get engaged in this. Or just making it tough. Make the lines long, don't have very many voting machines, right? All of the ways that people say, ugh, and give up on it. So a big part of what we can do is we can make sure nobody gives up on it. You got a plan, vote early, bank that vote, that's the best, but that everybody makes it to the polls and gets their vote counted.
We've already seen that President Trump is trying to plant seeds of confusion. I think he tweeted a couple days ago, we may not ever know the results for years to come. So
he hopes.
Right. So your message is people should ignore that, focus on voting.
And look, what Trump is doing right now is engaging in voter suppression. Think about it. What he's doing is he's trying to say to people who have a lot of other stuff going on in their lives, or people who are afraid to get out during the COVID crisis, people who've got little children they're trying to take care of, or elderly parents. They're trying to say to anybody kind of in the swing group, not swing politically, but swing like how much effort you have to put into voting. He said, oh, don't vote. It's not going to count. It's not, find every way possible to keep folks from voting. And you know, voting, it's the beating heart of our democracy. It's how we make this whole system work. We want a government that reflects our values, a government that stands not just with billionaires, a government that's not racist and promoting racist values. Then by golly, you got to get out there and vote.
Now, I want to get back to convention planning in a second, but there is one other big Senate story this week, which is that the Intelligence Committee put out their final part of this Russia report yesterday. This is a GOP-led panel, and they said Trump's old campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, was a grave counterintelligence threat. Yep. What do people need to know about this final part of the report?
You know, what really gets me about this is the reminder, this report has been in the making for 2 years now. Just do the little calculation in your head that, 7 months ago, 6 months ago, we were in the middle of an impeachment hearing. Yeah. And part of this impeachment hearing was about a president who was trying to use foreign powers and engaged with foreign powers in order to help himself instead of to represent our nation. And remember, the fundamental question was, are we going to have witnesses? I mean, I can't even believe I still have to say, a question at a trial, a trial that was constitutionally required was, will we have witnesses? Yeah. And these were the people who were working on that report and who voted 100% of the Republicans to have a trial with no witnesses. Now, to me, can we just go back to that last conversation about voting? Yeah. It's not only about holding Donald Trump accountable for all that he's done. It's about holding every single Republican accountable for that vote. It's about every single Republican who knows what they knew and when they knew it, but who wouldn't ask that question out in public of Donald Trump and his administration and of themselves. That is fundamentally wrong, and it undermines what our democracy is all about. So when you're out there voting, keep that one in mind. We need not only to take back the White House, we need to take back the Senate. We need to hold people accountable. Everyone who wants to affiliate with that Republican Party as part of how they run for office, hold them accountable up and down the ticket. Vote Democratic.
Yeah. Now, one other part of the report, I think I'm just going to read the quote. Trump told Robert Mueller that he did not recall talking to Roger Stone about WikiLeaks, but the report found that he did on multiple occasions. So did Trump lie? Is that perjury?
Of course Trump lied. I mean, that's exactly what this proves. And of course, this is like, no one gets really excited about this anymore because we have become just so numb to this man's lies. But I'm so glad you raised this because we can't become numb to it. Again, I just underscored this is about Trump, but it's about every single senator who signed off at that impeachment and said, we're not even going to ask. We're not even going to put him to the proofs. We're not even going to ask about his lying. We're not going to bring in a single witness. That was so fundamentally wrong. And now this report comes out, and what are the Republicans doing? All looking somewhere else. They have to admit the report is right because it's their report, but they want there to be no consequences. They hope they've waited late enough that it won't affect Donald Trump and it won't affect their own elections. Well, that's what accountability is about. We need to hold them all accountable.
Now, say Biden does win in November, and we're looking at a post-Trump presidency.
Yep.
So, one of your colleagues, Senator Ted Cruz, said on Fox News last night, if these guys win, you're going to have Elizabeth Warren as Treasury Secretary. And everybody,
thank you, Ted.
Everybody online was like, yes, please. So is that something you would be interested in?
So look, I appreciate the endorsement from Ted Cruz, but we got 76 days. And where I'm focused for 76 days right now is helping make sure that we get Joe Biden and Kamala Harris into the White House. They're going to make a great president and vice president, and that we take back the Senate. And then after that, I'll consult with Ted Cruz for career advice.
That sounds good. Let's do a follow-up on that. That would be good. Now, you're speaking tonight. Senator Kamala Harris, you just mentioned, is also speaking tonight. You were on the short list for VP candidates, along with Harris, obviously. And because the short list was all women, there were a number of sexist attacks on ambitious women before Biden even announced who he chose. So now, since she has been announced, we're also seeing racist birther attacks. You faced a lot of sexism in your campaign and career. How do you deal with this, and how should Democrats respond?
You know, I have to say, watching Kamala now as our vice presidential candidate actually fills me with hope. Yeah, it's tough out there. Yeah, it sucks out there. But seeing her picture, knowing her story, I've worked with Kamala for a long, long time, back when she was Attorney General in California and when I was still teaching and doing research back during the first financial crisis, or the one in 2008. But seeing Kamala in this role and thinking about all the little girls who see Kamala doing this, all the little boys who see Kamala doing this, all the grown-ups who see it. And it gives me real hope that, yeah, it can suck. Yeah. But this is how we make progress. We get in there and we persist and we make change.
I was incredibly excited about your campaign, and I'm also Indian American, so I'm very excited for this new level of representation that we're seeing as well. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is.
All right, as we wrap up, I want to know what you've enjoyed most about the virtual convention and what you're looking forward to in these next 2 nights.
Okay, so come on, Michelle Obama.
Yes.
But in terms of just pure plain old fun, the most fun thing was the roll call last night.
Yes, I completely agree.
It was so small d democratic. You know what I mean? It was the reminder. You don't actually get it as much when they're all crammed in the hall and they're all wearing weird hats and so on. We really got to see all these different places where somebody said, this is how I want to represent my state. And they got together and figured it out. And of course, let's face it, Rhode Island stole the show.
The calamari guy. Everybody loves it.
Calamari. I mean, you know, and I have to admit, I mean, here I am, the senior senator from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I'm not sure we have a state appetizer. How could that be? I feel really dissed, you know, like we didn't quite get into this. So I thought it was a reminder of this is how democracy works. We spend so much time kind of looking at the president, vice president, the Senate, the House, and that's all good. But all of this happens because of the grassroots, the folks who showed up at their local Democratic Party organizing meetings. God bless them. Starting last year, starting the year before, going back for years, and who really have done the hard labor. And that's how someone ends up representing the state at the convention, and then how we build toward a win. But it was the reminder to me in the most concrete terms, the way we're going to win on November 3rd is grassroots. It's everybody who's listening to us right now, making the decision that not only are they going to vote, but they're going to see to it that other people vote. Donald Trump wants to do everything he can to suppress the turnout, to cut the heart out of our democracy. We not only need to beat him, we need to beat him, not by a little bit, but big. We need people all across this. We don't want to have a disputed outcome. We need to come across and say, we don't have to live in Donald Trump's America. We can build a better America than that. And it's going to take, not just those at the top, it's going to take everybody to make that happen.
Now, final quick question from our comments. Somebody wants to know if you're going to be bringing Bailey on stage tonight, or on camera tonight, rather.
I would love to, but I don't think Bailey, this is not going to be a place where Bailey should be. But he will be watching at home with his cousin Obi. They watch whenever I have a chance to do something like this. So he'll be with me in spirit, but I don't think he's going to be on the camera.
All right. Well, Senator, thank you so much for your time. Good luck tonight. For those of you who are watching, Senator Elizabeth Warren will be addressing the DNC tonight, along with Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton. You can watch live 9 to 11 Eastern right here on Now This. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's so fun to be here.
Thank you.
Take care.